Hi, this is Watson Gunn here. We are on the first day of California lockdown. The governor ordered the entire state to stay at home. I'm in this quiet office and just thinking of maybe I can share something to cheer everybody up. Now, this is not just California. It's pretty much the entire America. In fact, most part of the world. Where I come from in Malaysia, things are getting, seems like, as bad as Italy. That really concerns me. The loved one and the people, friends that we have there. Well, what can I do to make it a little more, bring a little cheer, maybe something to share with you? I thought about what my mentor told me this morning. He said that this is a time not to just be a consumer. It's so easy to caught up watching news, the 24-hour news cycle, or just go into social media, or just consume toilet paper. It's time to be a contributor. So I'm going to share with you this story. It's called Stand on Your Own Feet. Well, it actually come in the form of a joke. I always like to tell jokes. I'm just never good at it. I love to tell story too. The last time I told a joke, it wasn't much of a joke. I became a joke. So I'm not good at it. So please don't put your expectation too high. Okay. I hope you can get some laugh out of it. If you can't, at least you can laugh at me at the end of this joke. Well, the story goes something like that. Well, I got this story almost 40 years ago when I was new in America. In my first summer, while going through college, I took on a summer project in the Midwest. Before that, we spent a week in Nashville, go through some training. There I met a very nice gentleman from Mississippi, Mr. Alan Clement. He was like the vice president of the company. Great looking guy, handsome, very outspoken, very charming, encouraging, very uplifting. Mr. Clement, if you're listening to this joke, I want to thank you again for what an impact you are. You have been to me and to who knows how many thousands or tens of thousands, several generations of young people, young college students. Mr. Clement told his story once there was what the title is called, Standing on Your Own Feet. Stand on your own feet. Once there was this speaker, a very popular speaker. He would go from university to university in different cities, in fact from country to country, deliver this one speech. This is like a great speech with a lots of wisdom, a lots of knowledge, and include in the speech has history in it, has science, has math, has philosophy, psychology, theology, geology, Scientology. No, just kidding. Scientology isn't part of that. And that speech is so well received that people had to book him way years and years in advance. And he's such a well paid, highly demanded all over the world. And in his career, he's got this one chauffeur who would drive him from places, from hotel to the venue and to the airport. He's been working over the many years. Then this one evening, the chauffeur decided it's been too long with this speaker and he got tired of it. And he started to have a bad attitude. On the way to this university, the chauffeur spoke to the speaker. Now, Mr. Clement used a very beautiful southern twang, which I can't do. I'll try to pretend, but I couldn't speak as well as him. This is what the chauffeur told the speaker. Hey, Mr. Speaker, you ain't nothing, you know. You think you're such a big hotshot. You ain't nothing. Now imagine the speaker had a lot of ego. Suddenly he just felt like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? And he said, oh yeah? What's wrong with you today, boy? He called him boy. Well, the chauffeur said, you ain't nothing, Mr. Speaker. I've been with you all this year. All you can do is just give this one lousy speech. I've heard this all this year. I'm sick and tired of it. In fact, I can do a heck of a lot better job than you delivering that same speech. Now that speaker, he's very ticked. He really ticked off. He said, okay, why don't you give the speech tonight then? He was that upset. Now, they are heading to a university. They haven't seen the speaker before. They don't know what it looked like. Somehow the speaker and the chauffeur come to an agreement. They agree to pull the limousine, the big limousine, by the side of the road. Starts flopping off it. Now the speaker becomes the chauffeur with the hat and the uniform on. And he put his very expensive suit on the chauffeur. And he would drive the chauffeur into this university parked by this gymnasium. Now, students were lining up hours ahead. It's kind of like a Bernie Sanders or, I don't know, Billy Graham or Donald Trump's rally, People were waiting out there and the whole place was packed. We're talking about wall-to-wall, standing room only. Some students could not get into the building. They were so desperate. They climbed on top of the building, cracked a hole on the roof, crawl under hang on the rafter all over. We're talking about students everywhere. Now the real speaker, now in the chauffeur outfit, would just run to the back and just sit back, see how his chauffeur is going to make a fool of himself tonight. The chauffeur, who became the speaker, went in front of the student body and gave the speech. Now he forever gave a speech. He did such a great job. At the end of the speech, students went crazy. They were throwing books in the air, high-fiving each other, punching each other, even screaming, yelling, applause, cheer for so long. But there was a problem. The chauffeur ended the speech 10 minutes early. Now the university had to pay a lots of money for this speaker. The president of the university looked at the clock. He quickly ran up in front at the stage, shook the speaker's hand. Mr. Speaker, that got to be the best speech ever delivered on this university in its 267-year history. You have done such an outstanding job just to make sure that we make the best use of our time. We got a little time for question and answer. As soon as the president said that students quickly line up, some are jumping off from the rafter trying to get in line. Now the very first student right in the front had books under each arm. He's got glasses as thick as the bottom of the Coke bottle. You young people don't know what it is. We used to drink in a bottle and there's a ring on the glasses. He ran in the front and said, Mr. Speaker, I got a question for you. Now, on your speech, about 2/3 through what you were sharing in the city of Kamchatka in Siberia, 600 years ago, they pulled out those specimens with dinosaurs' tooth on it. If they were to take that to the lab, extract that, put sulfuric acid on it with 3.5 millimeter at a temperature of 120 degrees for 62 hours, then it would be frozen for another 3 days. And when they pull that out, examine the pH number. Based on that, they can tell the people who were living in their area during that time were the migrant, the Aryan race who occupied the Persian Empire. And that was before they intermarried with a Greek invader, before they were forced to resettle into the city of gold in India. Now, are you able to tell me what kind of diet they were eating that determined their descendant before that was able to sustain their lifespan of approximately how many years now? Can you tell me that? Now, the speaker, who is actually the chauffeur, do not have a clue what the heck the student was asking. The speaker sitting at the back. Now, he's really nervous now. You know the chauffeur's cover has been blown. It's like, oh, shut up. The speaker, on the other hand, the chauffeur, on the other hand, was acting calm and collective. He looked at the student. He go, Mr. Student, that got to be the dumbest question I have ever heard in my entire 17 years of my career. The answer to that question is so simple. In fact, everybody should know that. Mr. President, this student got to be ashamed of himself, and I can't believe you enroll him into such a prestigious university. Everybody got to know the answer. Well, let me just prove a point. Look up there at the back. The gentleman with the hat. Well, that's my chauffeur. Even my chauffeur know the answer. Well, Mr. Chauffeur, why don't you come in the front and answer the question for this stupid student here? And the whole gymnasium went silent. No other student ever dared to ask another question. Now the moral of the story is, Mr. Clement told us, you got to stand on your own feet. Well, recently we have gone through a lot. As a state, as a nation, as a world really. We don't know how long this is going to last. Some people say we have to do this for 2 weeks. Some say it may last up to 2 months. Some say this thing might go on for another year or even longer. With this all over, we don't know what's going to be next. Some of us may not have a job at the end. Some of us may not be able to go back to the restaurant you used to go to. They might be closing down. Unfortunately, some people will get sick. Some people we know, God forbid, if one of our loved ones may not make it. We need each other more than ever before. We need to pull in. We need to be, like my mentor told me, be a contributor, not just a consumer. We gotta stop consuming all the news cycle that's 24 hours. We are so easy to binge on TV, on social media. We gotta contribute something. Well, this is a good time to do something, to learn something. Some of us gotta start a new project, maybe start a garden at home, or clean up the house, or perhaps learn a new language, go into the computer, learn a new language, new skill maybe, new something. Some of you might want to write a book. I have wrote 2 books this past 2 years. I'm so happy. Some of you may have to spend more time, or maybe pick up the phone, text a friend, a neighbor, somebody you haven't spoken with for a long time, and elderly people you may not have a chance to see them again. Make a phone call, write a few postcards, send a letter, email, however you can. Let's contribute to something. But whatever we are, we need to stand on our own feet. Some people are just so looking forward for the government $1,200 check. How long a $1,200 can go, really? We have to be there for each other, and we have to stand up on our own feet. That, like the chauffeur, at a critical time, he stood up and be himself, overcome that very, very interesting challenge. I just want to let you know that we are all in it together. Let's go through this together and come out a lot stronger. Some of you are going to be a year, 2 years, 5 years from now looking back and say this is the best time of your life. Some family get much closer. Some of the loved one or some of the relationship that were fractured maybe through this can be easily put together, can be restored. Some of you may have a sibling you haven't spoken with for a long time, or a parent, some graduates, something that has never settled. It's a perfect time to pick up the call. They're most likely to be able to talk to you. They're not working, or they're not anywhere else. Or just leave a message. There's so many ways you can do that. Or write a postcard. I just hope and hope and hope that while you may or may not like my joke, this is not a laughing matter. This is a critical time. And I pray for God's blessing, God's protection be upon you, your loved one, your family, and you come through okay. Then your business, your work, your career, your health, everything will come out better than before. And if I can help in any way, please feel free to share. And please share this with your friend. Please help to promote, to become a contributor, not just a consumer. I'm thinking of you, and we pray every day for the people we know, for you. And I just hope that your best is still to come. You take care, and God bless.